I can't go live, just me on camera. Isn't that weird?
Is it a confidence thing or a rule thing?
A rule thing. A rule thing. I love that. I love the US though. That's fantastic.
Gotta know.
So who is this? What baby is this?
This is Miles.
Miles. Oh my gosh.
He is just 13 months.
I can't, man. I can't. He is perfect, isn't he? Wow.
Sacked out for a little while anyway.
Wow. I love it. Well, Patty is going to be, she warned me she's going back to back with meetings. So she was like, Johnny, can you like fluff? Can you fluff for a little while? I was like, yeah, I'm the king of fluffing. So it's no problem at all. Now I'm just like thinking maybe I can throw a link to this up on Instagram while I'm sitting here talking. Britta's here. Oh yeah, we got 2 people in the room now. Kayla's here. Hello, Kayla. Everybody's here but the guest of honor. But I already gave Patty permission to be late because she told me ahead of time. She said, Johnny, I'm going to be late. I'd say, okay. How are Colin and Britta this evening?
We're good.
You got your whiskey sours. Woo!
Did you like the egg white? You got all fancy?
No, but it got frothy when I shook it.
Well, we shook ours and did not get frothy, but
I don't know. Did you use full-blown simple syrup or just sugar?
So we bought, because I was like, I'm not going to make simple syrup like right now. So we bought some at Hy-Vee, and like we used freshly squeezed lemon.
Yeah, there you go. Patty Taylor in the building.
Hey, I'm here. Hi.
Johnny didn't make me one. Kayla, you don't even like whiskey. How you gonna make accusatory?
Kayla, reveal yourself. Why are you hiding in the shadows?
She already put in chat that she's in her jammies. She's not.
No way. I would scare everybody. I'm here, but I'm terrifying. So it's just better not to. Johnny can attest.
I will never attest that you look scary. That's a terrible thing to say about yourself. I'm going to put up this video here in the digital community real quick, happening now. And then we'll get started, Patty.
All right.
I know you had just did something else.
I did.
And so I feel terrible that I made you go back to back like this, but here we are.
It's okay. It's all right. I had a potty break, so I'm good.
Oh, well, yeah, you're gold then. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, let's just start, Patty. These things tend to grow as they go. So a lot of people putting kids to bed at 8:30 at night or at 6:30, if you're out there on the West Coast and things like that. So I was looking forward to chatting with you. Since you've been to the Craigmore, did Kevin make you a whiskey sour, Patty?
No, but he made me like a giant size, like rum punch. I was like, whoa, Kev. He's like, there's a double portion for you.
Yeah, if you're gonna do like a marathon like this, you need to have. Yeah, I always make a double before the happy hour for sure.
So he went to a neighbor's house last weekend to watch a football game, and he's really not like a big drinker like that, and he does like whiskey and we drink red wine, but he had this at the neighbor's house. So now he's like, oh, I'm going to go out and get like the grenadine and all the things to make it. And I was like, well, that wasn't on the menu, but I will definitely drink it. I will drink it.
That. It's so funny because I was like, Patty, what's like the cocktail that you like? And you were like, I like wine, I like whiskey.
Yeah,
and now you got a rum punch. That's my favorite thing, is that you have a rum punch now after that question.
Hey, it's been a week, okay?
There you go. Hey, no, you're in good company. I told you, I always make the double. We're good to go here. You're in good company. So my number one very first question, Patty. Okay. I have heard
Wait,
you
wait,
and
wait, wait.
Kayla-
Can I ask you a question first?
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it anyways. Did you get your hair cut for me? Because I feel really special.
I did. That's exactly.
Okay.
I thought if I'm going to go on with Patty, I got to keep
Yes.
things looking.
You had to like
you
spruce
know.
it up, you know? Okay, just wanted to double check. Go ahead, proceed.
You know what's funny? As I went to, I was in Des Moines, which is where we used to live, and I was about to start driving home, and I was driving right past my old place where I get my haircut, and I haven't had a haircut in a salon since pre-COVID.
Mhm.
It was my hair was crazy. Kayla's mom has like cut it for me a few times, you know. And I was like, dude, I'm just gonna go in. They have all my stuff because there's too much pressure for a haircut. Like it's like, what do you want? What do you want done? All this different kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I can't answer all these questions, but they've already cut my hair, so it's already in their system. Here's what Johnny wants, right? And so I go in and they print the ticket. They're like, Johnny, and she was like, what do you want? And I said, is it on the ticket? And she's like, yes. And I said, let's do that. And I had no idea that it was short because it's been so long since I had a haircut. So I was shocked. It was like, I was like, well, that's it then. We're doing this now. So
There you have it.
yeah. All right, Patty.
Yes.
Here we go. You are the first
Yes.
person, you and Kayla are the first people that I ever heard use this phrase. And now I see it on Reels. I see it on Instagram. I see it all over the place. Tell me, what is a church Chad? What is a church Chad, Patty? Describe it. Describe Chad. I know that he's white, but what else can you tell me about Chad?
Chad is so white. Chad, like that, that reel that you posted with like warning signs, ESV,
red
warning
flag.
signs. I was so upset because, you know, Instagram makes it so hard to share videos now. I was going to share that and I was going to say, here's an example of, you know, a church Chad near you, but it wouldn't let me share it. So yeah, it's definitely like the full-on white man syndrome, smarts in the room. I know all the things. You can't ever question me. There's no room for this. I'm in charge, honor and respect. Da, 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 da. And it's just like, you're just being a whole white man right now. And it's not cool. Like, it's not, like, it's just not okay. Like, just stop, just bring it down. It's like that meme or that quote that says, I wish I had the confidence of a mediocre white man. Like that is talking about like the church Chad.
That's what's gotten me this far. I'm 35 years old, and that's the only thing that's gotten me this far. It's the confidence of a mediocre white man. It's worked out for me so far. I understand. It hurts me to hear it because I'm like, I think that's me. I think that might be me. So
yeah. Oh, Kayla added like a really important part too. They're married to the Ashland Graces because the Ashland Grace has to like make sure that they prop up the church Chad and like, you're the best ever all the time, no matter what. Here's your pedestal. I'll shine it for you.
Is Ashland Grace the smoking hot wife? Ah, Kayla, you took it out of my mouth.
The smoking hot wife. You all are so on the same page. And she's hot. Wink,
oh, she's
wink.
always hot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The church Chad.
Avert your eyes, fellas, when my wife is coming.
Oh gosh. So oh my gosh. Okay. Patty, you've been in a lot of church contexts. Can you were you raised in a black church? Were you raised in a white church? And I know maybe those are unfair distinctions. Were you raised in a multi-ethnic church? How were you raised? And then, where have you gone to church since then?
Oh, actually, I wasn't raised in church at all.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I always believed that there was a God. Like we had like the very like, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep prayer every night. And we said grace, before every meal. I had a couple of friends that took me to church in high school and a great grandma who took me a long time ago before she passed away. And I remember, like the mints, like the old lady mints.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I did not come to know the Lord until college. And I was, and it was definitely in a Black church context because I went to an HBCU, a historically Black college university in Alabama. So I'm from the Bay Area, California, but I went to college in Alabama at Tuskegee. And so I sang in the choir. I always loved singing. I enjoyed singing. but my main focus growing up was softball, and like that was all I had time for. So
Okay.
in college, I was like, oh, I want to try something different. I joined the choir, and we sang at chapel every Sunday, and we sang a lot of Negro spirituals and songs that like I'm singing about God, but I'm like, I don't really know God, and I feel that like tugging, and the first semester was rough for me. Like it was just a huge culture shock in like every way. And when I came back, it was that January. I'm going to date myself now, but it was in January of 2000 where my friend, Jonathan Brooks, who, if you all are on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you may know him as Pastor Jay. He actually was someone who endorsed Kayla's book. But he's a pastor in Chicago. Then he was just my choir brother. And he is the one who actually led me to the Lord. So I started like with a Black church context. And that's how it remained. Even in California, because I met some people at Tuskegee, and like one of the guys, like his dad was a pastor back home in California. So I started going to their church.
Yeah.
And I'd never went to a predominantly white church. I didn't really even know like the word evangelical until I moved to Georgia. And that was almost
well, that makes
7 years ago.
sense. That seems like the place you would learn the word. Yeah.
I definitely got introduced.
That's right.
Definitely.
So it's funny that you say, I don't know if everybody here follows you on, they probably follow you on Instagram. They probably know your family, but you say you never went to a predominantly white church until you went to Georgia, but you met your husband in church, and your husband, I think I could describe as predominantly white, right?
He is fully white. But he was like that one white guy at the church, at the Black church. But that's how he grew up though. Like I grew up as the one Black girl in like a white suburb, and he grew up as the one white kid in his white family. Like his older brother's nickname was White Boy E, and like this brown and Black community. So like all my school pictures, I'm like the one Black girl, and he's the one white boy in all of his school pictures.
It's meant to be. You guys.
So he was like,
magnetic.
hey, like this is like it's nothing. But he was so quiet and shy. I just knew him as like the sound guy for a long time because I was doing praise and worship, and he would just come on the stage, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's that one white guy, the sound guy. That's it.
The white sound guy, yeah.
He was our token white guy.
You guys had the sound booth is in the back. You made the white guy sit in the back. Is that what you're telling me happened?
Yeah. You get a taste of this. Go to the back of the room.
That's good. We got to flip the script sometimes. That's important. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to get to Georgia in a minute. But first, I want to know.
Let me sip before we get to Georgia. Okay,
yeah. We got to warm up to Georgia. It's okay. I want to know what did you do to cows in college? That's what I want to know. Is what did you do to cows in college, Patty?
Okay, so I did a lot of things. I actually have my degree in animal science.
Okay.
My official degree is animal and poultry science with the business option.
Now, right here, I could stop and say, I invited Patty to move to Iowa.
Yes.
And we would start an urban farm together.
Yes.
And she said, no, is what she said, because it snows here. So
I did say no.
And I said, here's the thing. I'm a mediocre white guy, so I have all the confidence. And you actually know what you're doing. So then we could it might actually work out. Well, have all of my confidence and all of your actual skill, knowledge, ability, we could probably do something, man.
It's a little rusty now, but I mean, yeah, I have a lot of really fun experiences. So my first year in college, I learned how to castrate a bull 3 ways. I did rectal palpations. I did Tuskegee is like 20 minutes from Auburn University. And I did, we had to get some hours at the dairy farm at Auburn University. I did work study on the Caprine Research Unit, which is the goat farm. And what else? Yeah, I think that's it.
I think the senator from Iowa, who I'm not going to say anything bad about, even though she's awful, She ran originally on the platform of like castrating pigs. So this is one more thing you could do if you moved to Iowa, is you could run for Senate and be like, pigs, I castrated cows. And you'd win immediately. You'd win in a landslide.
Oh, and I was a manager of a poultry processing plant.
Okay.
Mhm.
Patty, you've lived 1,000 lives.
And I've been to Alaska and was a park ranger for 3 summers in a
That
row.
was on my list as well. Is the Alaska.
So all like the animal experience, like the wildlife and the domestic, the farm animals.
I love it. I love it so much. So you're well acquainted with the cow. Does it change the way you consume beef to have done that much intimate work with cows? No, you're still like, give me that burger. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good for you.
I'm heartless.
I don't know. Maybe not. I still eat it. I've never been that intimate with a cow, but that sounds like somebody's gonna take that out of context, and who knows what that's gonna turn into. But I've never, had to castrate a cow, I suppose is what I'm saying. So let's move to the next question. I think this would be an appropriate time to move to the next question. Patty, it's all about your comfort in talking about these things. I think it's fair to say you experienced a bit of trauma from church, and what I kind of want to know is what faith looks like after trauma that happened within a church context. Because in so much of American Christianity, and I think it's true in white evangelicalism, I don't purport to be an expert on Black church, but I think church attendance is very important. And so in both of those contexts, it's almost like faith is only in and through the church. And then you experience trauma in the church and think, I'm not going back, right? Or at least for a while, I'm not going to go back. What does faith look like post, those kinds of experiences?
Yeah, just hit me with the deep one. Okay.
That's how we do. We talk about cows,
and then open up about your trauma.
Yeah, that's how we do it here.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm happy to talk about it because it is such a journey, and I know I'm not the only one. And I think, I don't even know, at some point in the last couple months, I posted something about spiritual abuse and on my Instagram page, and there were so many people who commented like, I've never heard someone talk about this before. I mean, this is so sad. Like, I experienced a lot of trauma. Like, you were putting it mildly, but like
I'm not trying to push you to share things.
No, I know. I appreciate, but like I experienced the trifecta, like the toxic theology, racial trauma, and spiritual abuse, all rolled up into one. And so it's been really heartbreaking. It's been really difficult. Faith looks like unlearning so much and trying something new without associating it with something scary. Like, it's scary, but I'm saying like there's like this heavy connotation of like, if you're not in church, then you're in this like scary wilderness place all by yourself, and you're just going to be like lost there forever, and then you're going to wander away from God, and then you're doomed. And I was like, and I really thought that, like, I really believed that, like, people who are in the wilderness like should only be there for a certain time, and then you got to get back to the church. Like,
well, pastors tell you that, right?
Yeah.
Because our livelihoods depend on you being in church.
Right.
So we're gonna definitely tell you if you wander too long.
Yeah, we wandered too long. But I think that it's been like discovering parts of God, new parts of God every day, new parts of myself, discovering how to see God in a new way. Because I don't want to be apart from God. I don't want to desire that. Like, I get it's personal to me, right? But I get really upset when I see like these hot takes. They're like, oh, people leave, they need to be in church, and before you sin. And it's like, I'm not trying to be apart from Jesus. I love the Lord. But it's really been hard for me to pray. It's really been hard for me to pick up my Bible. It's been hard for me to read because I had so much trust in my faith leaders and the way that they use God's word to manipulate and abuse me. It's a long process of separating the two. Like, I know they are not God, even though they really did make statements that were similar to like, the way you honor me is the way you see God.
Right.
But I know that they're not the same, one and the same, but it is so difficult, like, to actually put that into practice,
Yeah.
because it's just so painful. So a lot of it looks like, just being willing to get up and try again, and to have a lot of self-compassion, and to have a few people I can really talk to who aren't going to shame me because you're not in church yet. You didn't read your Bible today. You didn't do this yet. Who are like, well, let's just talk about where you are, or I'll just listen. Like, what are your thoughts right now? Where are you on your walk? Of course, Kayla is one of those people, and I can't even imagine having walked through this without her. But it really challenged me. It made me realize how often I was that person who looked at someone now in my shoes saying, oh, they must have left because they're flaky, or they must have left because I wonder what happened. Oh, they just, it had to have been something that they did. And it hurts just to know that I was also complicit in that idea of not even wanting to go deeper, not even wanting to ask someone, why did you leave? Or wanting to write off, oh, your church hurt. Well, the church is full of broken people, and broken people are going to hurt you. And, all like those things. It's like, there's hurt. There's like, Sally did me wrong, like she gave me the stank eye. And then there's like, and then there's like, I'm using the word of God to manipulate you and like coerce you and to be condescending and to, like to abuse you. Like, those are two totally different things. So
I think it's so interesting because there is such like a quick, and it's certainly within white evangelicalism to say like, you need to be reading your Bible. But if everybody who ever taught you how to read your Bible only ever taught you how to read it in ways that like consolidated their power and ensured that they, in their maleness and whiteness, generally speaking, got to speak for, the divine, then when you go to the Bible, it's really, really hard. It's not like you magically like just know how to not read it that way. These are the people who've been interpreting for you this whole time. And I think you do need to take a time to relearn what's going on. I don't want to preach at you, but we did this interview on the podcast with Tyler Burns, and he talked about the wilderness and the wandering in the wilderness. And it's a time of refining. And if I could press the metaphor, right, to Israel, like those people died in the wilderness, which means that a whole new group of people had to relearn who God was in the wilderness. So I don't expect you to die in the wilderness. So I said, but like, you're going to relearn God so that you don't go back into the same patterns. Like those people couldn't go to the promised land because they couldn't relearn patterns. You shouldn't be trying to like get into your Bible and magically you're going to be able to understand it afresh when everybody who's ever interpreted it for you has, been misusing it. The wilderness, I think, is the space to re-understand.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's been like I said, it's always been taught to me as like a place you don't want to be in for long, or else you'll stray from God. Yeah. And I'm finding it as a place to recalibrate and actually find my people.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get back to like, before white evangelical, Patty from the last 6-7 years, like I did have, like I had a very different context, and even, in the Black church tradition, but even still, like within that, there's still, just internalize things in ways that I still look back and say, like, what is it that I want to return to? Yeah. Like, that's the question. Yeah. Like, I know God is walking with me along the way, but how I operate and who I am, like, what do I want to return to, and what do I want to leave where it is?
If you don't spend enough time in the wilderness, God, you're going to get me preaching. I love Old Testament. If you don't spend enough time in the wilderness, you start thinking Egypt was the promised land. And that's what the people did. Right. Oh, let's go back. We had food. We had all this. And they got convinced that Egypt was the promised land. It's like, girl, you just came out of Egypt. Like, you don't need to go back. You got to keep moving down the road.
Stay on.
Yeah, exactly right. Spend that time. And figure out some new pathways. You know what? You moved to Georgia once for a church. You can move to Waterloo for a church, Patty. I'm just saying, we get this thing going. It'll be funded by the urban farm. We got a whole process.
We'll castrate pigs.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then eventually you'll run for Senate. I've already got your whole career trajectory plotted out here. I'm going to do some quick hits. All right. I'm going to do some quick hits. You ready?
Okay. Yes. Let's go.
All right. Best Hallmark movie.
Oh, Johnny, that's an impossible question. I'm like, that's an impossible question. I will say best Hallmark season, Christmas season, which starts this year, October 22nd, on both Hallmark Original and Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
They're not even waiting for Halloween to start Christmas.
No, they get earlier and earlier. Like a few years ago, it was November, and then now it's October, and I am here for it. I'm here for it all.
How many new movies will there be in this season?
A lot. I actually don't remember.
It's not one a day, is it? One a week, maybe?
Well, they do. I mean, they have multiple channels. It's like there will be like a new one like on Friday on the Hallmark Original channel, and then a new one on Saturday on the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. Right. One of my favorite. I give you one title, but this is a tearjerker because I do like movies like that. Christmas in Conway, and Mandy Moore was in that movie, and it was a very touching.
That's high budget.
It was because they have like the Hallmark Hall of Fame movies where they have like the kind of upper echelon, people who.
It's not a Candace Cameron beret nonsense movie. You're getting the real deals.
Yeah, that one I watch every year just so I can cry.
Okay, I love it. What's your favorite day of the week, Patty?
Saturday.
That is spoken. You spoke that like a woman with no boundaries. That's what you sounded like just then.
I'm like, whoa, because I'm like, are they different?
They should be a little different.
No, I would say Saturday, because everyone is home on Saturday.
That's a sweet answer. I'm like Monday, because get these people out. Nobody's been out of my house in 2 years, but in theory, it should be Monday.
Well, let me say, my husband is home on Saturday, so I stay in the bed longer, and he goes and gets the kids.
Now we're getting to the real. I like that. All right. Favorite U.S. city?
I don't like favorite questions, Johnny. I can't choose just one.
I thought you'd be like San Francisco. I thought it would be like, bang, San Francisco.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Bay Area for sure. But I love San Francisco to visit, but I would never want to live there.
Sure, that's different. I understand that.
I love San Diego, but not the part outside of San Diego where I recently was. That was super racist. So there's pros and cons everywhere. I love New York. I love visiting New York.
You're like, I loved Tuskegee, but I did not love Alabama. That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. See? See, you see where I'm going.
Was there a nickname that your parents called you growing up?
I had so many nicknames with Patty. Are you kidding me? Patty Cake, like Patty Mayonnaise from Doug. Oh my gosh, like that was a popular one. Yeah. But my parents, I would say Patty Cake. That's the one. Because my grandfather, like my granddad, he would call me that. So they call me that.
What do you think the last song you streamed was, Patty? Don't give me a Barack Obama answer. Every year he's
I'm really thinking because I listen to music all the time.
Albums of the year.
No, I listen to music all the time. I think the last song I think was "You Were Not Alone" from the Evan Hansen soundtrack. Okay. Because they kept trying to play on its own when I was in my previous meeting. And I was like, Google, shh. Like, gosh.
Not Broadway, not right now. This is not the group for this.
I'm like, okay. I'm sorry. You Will Be Found is the name of it. That's the last one. You Will Be Found. Okay. It's either that or Coco Melon.
I gotta say, the Coco Melon thing blows my mind. We were out of the state. We were out of toddlers by the time Coco Melon showed up. And I see people talking about it now. And I'm like, just be glad it's not Caillou, guys. Just be glad. Whatever Coco Melon is, it's not as bad as Caillou. First celebrity crush.
I don't know if I can remember first, but I know I definitely had a crush on the lead singer of Third Eye Blind, Steve James.
That feels like the deepest cut celebrity crush that I could possibly imagine. I need what's his name? I gotta look him up. I gotta look.
No, like I seriously, like it was music. It was like angsty. It's from the Bay Area, San Francisco. It's all the things. Like
Third Eye Blind lead singer Stephen Jenkins.
I'm telling you, Stephen Jenkins.
Okay, all right.
Stephen PHEN.
Okay, Stephen. I'm looking this up so everybody can see him.
No, I don't know what he looks like now. I know then. This was like the 90s, Johnny.
He kind of looks like Kevin, honestly. I mean, it makes a lot of sense now that I'm seeing this picture. Look at that,
oh my gosh, that picture is funny.
He looks like he's never been in the sun. Like he looks like he might be a vampire.
He's a vampire, really.
The man is translucent. Current celebrity crush.
Oh, come on. We talked about this when Kayla was on.
Michael B. Jordan.
It's Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. Different. That's a turn from Steve.
Very different.
Oh my gosh. I'm not saying any more. There's nothing else I can say that's not going to get me in trouble. Favorite holiday besides Christmas?
My birthday.
That's such a strong answer, Patty. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. It is a holiday. I will celebrate all month. And I'm turning 40 next month.
See,
it's a big deal.
That's
a big
crazy.
deal.
You look like you're 27 years old, Patty. It's outrageous that you're turning 40.
Thank you.
How long does it take you to get ready?
Oh, I'm very, very slow. I think during the week when I'm not trying at all, it's quick because I just roll out of bed. I don't do anything. The girls' school is 4 minutes away. I usually keep my bonnet on and my pajamas and I take them. And then if I have a meeting for work, then I will get dressed from here up. But sure. I take a really long time. My nickname growing up, another nickname was Pokey Little Puppy from the little golden book, the Pokey Little Puppy, because I was like, do not rush me. So I don't have you have to ask Kevin for an exact answer, but he will say a long time.
That's like my son, Asher. He literally will be like, when you rush me, it stresses me out. He hates it, does not want to be rushed. Does not like it. Invisibility or super strength?
Invisibility.
Everybody says invisibility.
Well, yeah, then you need to ask a different, get two different ones.
I just think it's weird that everybody says invisibility.
No, but if you ask something like invisibility or mind reading, that's a little more
Invisibility or flight?
Invisibility.
Would you rather be able to run super fast or fly, but only the speed that you can walk?
What? I don't care about running super fast. Where am I going? We're in a pandemic, Johnny. Where am I going? I want to run super fast in my backyard.
Yeah.
I will run super fast to Iowa. No, I can fly there if I had that. Yeah, running away from Georgia. Running away from here, yes.
Running away from Georgia and to Iowa. That's the frying pan to the fire, Patty. That's what that is. Favorite childhood TV show?
X-Men cartoon.
You are a complex individual, Patty.
Yeah. Seriously, is my absolute favorite. For my 16th birthday, when I don't think they do this anymore, but when kids could bring things in to school, and celebrate, my 16th birthday, I had a Gambit doll and I had Gambit balloons. Gambit was my favorite. And whenever I played softball, because we always played on the weekends, we had these tournaments. I played traveling tournament ball. I would be so upset that Saturday mornings I would miss the lineup, and the X-Men.
I love it.
And Storm, all of them. They're just amazing.
So you tell me about your current position at Be the Bridge and what you're doing there.
Yes, sure.
And maybe what Be the Bridge is. Maybe we have people who don't know. So, and what Be the Bridge does.
Sure. Be the Bridge is an amazing nonprofit organization based in Atlanta, Georgia, that was founded by an incredible Black woman, Latasha Morrison.
She's awesome.
And we provide education and so many resources and want to help the conversations on racial equity and racial reconciliation be smarter and be Christ-centered and be broader and reach a lot more people because it's such important work. So I'm really honored. Like seriously, it blows my mind that I have the opportunity to work for this organization. It was like one of those things, like right before I joined the Upside Down podcast as a co-host, they interviewed her and I was like, oh, I joined a season too late. like
I'll
they
never
got to
meet her
interview,
now.
they got to interview with Tasha Morrison and I missed her. But right now I serve as the director of programs for Be the Bridge. So that's a new position for me as of last month. But for the last year, I was the BIPOC educator, and I still also carry that title, which is actually part of what I was doing before I got on this call. The BIPOC educator, we have all these programs, which I now oversee. So I oversee myself too. But we have a Facebook
You're your
group.
own boss. That's like
Yeah, my own
right
boss.
there.
So I have to make sure I'm doing my job until I replace myself. But we have all these different programs. Like we have a TRA, transracial adoptee program, for example. We have a group on Facebook just for ministers. And we have a group that's a BIPOC care group. And it's just for Black, Indigenous, people of color. Yeah. So we can have a space where we can just be us and be free from the white gaze and talk about all the things. And that group existed before I had that role. But when everything happened last summer, there was just so much trauma that, they wanted to bring someone in to be more intentional in providing care and like just stewarding conversations in that group. And then we also released a guide for the BIPOC community. And I facilitate discussions going through that guide. So that's what I was doing before I got on this call.
That's intense, Patty. That's intense.
Yeah.
Has working with Be the Bridge been healing for you?
Yeah, it has been, because it's another community that reminds me I'm not alone. Like, given the situation that I went through here locally, I no longer have that community that I did have, like where I live.
Right.
And so, except for, really just a couple people. And so it's such hard work and it can just be so depressing sometimes, because you're just like, why? How are we still having these conversations? Like, I don't understand, what's it going to take? But to be able to do that with a team, to be able to do it with like-minded people, to be able to, spur each other on, to encourage each other, it's really been wonderful. No, I'm grateful that I'm like, yes, I found my people. We got this.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. I am part of the Be the Bridge Facebook group, not the BIPOC group. For obvious reasons.
No, I would, if you would try to enter, I would decline. I would be that person.
Right out of there. And I look like Stephen Jenkins, for God's sake. I cannot get in there. But I'm amazed at the number of times the conversation will start with like, this post is for Black and Indigenous people of color. This is for them to speak into. If you're white, you can watch and listen. And if you're not, then you can actually engage. And it'll always be like the first person that comments is a freaking white person. I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? What is it like? What's wrong with us whites? Patty, can you diagnose us? What's wrong with us? I can diagnose us if you want me to, but
it's definitely something to behold. A lot of church chads in there.
It's 100%.
I've got the answer. No.
I love it. I love that so much. Okay. What? I only have a couple more questions. I really only have a couple more questions. What is it about Anne of Green Gables that you love so much?
Oh, that her name is spelled like my middle name. That's an insider question. Yeah. So my middle name is Anne, and I would tell people that it's spelled Anne with an E, like Anne of Green Gables.
Yeah. Speaking of white culture, Anne of Green Gables.
Yeah, super white. But the context I grew up in, Fremont, California, it fit.
You just got this pained look on your face, like, I don't even want to admit that. Like,
yeah,
I can't believe you're putting me here.
was in it. But I bought I was so excited because I think it was last Christmas or around that time, or I don't know, sometime within this last year at our local like Second and Charles like secondhand bookstore. I found the whole set, and I do plan on reading them with my daughters. One day.
This is always
After we read like How to Be Anti-Racist. Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. You gotta get Kendi in there first before you get to Anna's Weekend.
Jamar Tisby's new like
Yeah.
youth book. Like, let's get all those in first. Then we can like do a little like European stuff. Sorry,
It's
Ken.
like, we
Sorry,
gotta get
Dad.
through stamped. We gotta get through. Yeah, exactly. This is not on my list, Patty, but this is interesting. You just brought it up. When you're raising up, biracial children, obviously, you're deeply invested in teaching them about their heritage as Black people, right? Do you feel a need to balance? Is there any sense of like equal airtime for like whiteness? Like, does Kevin have like a strong European? Is he like super German? Like Kayla's very German, for example. So I could teach my kids about German heritage. There's no such thing as white heritage. I can't teach them about that. But is there like, do you feel a sense of like we gotta make sure they understand a bit of this and a bit of that?
Yes and no. Like I think Kevin's mom's side of the family is Norwegian, and
that's the blandest of white people. And I hate to say that, but it's like
he's really dark for his family, and he's not dark at all. But like his family is super like blonde hair, blonde eyebrows, like blonde. And so we do talk about that, because the thing is that they're inherently going to be inundated with all things white culture.
Right.
And so like when we present it, we're not like, keep all the white Barbies away, keep all the white books away. You can't read, you can only have, but we do make sure we have a lot, we have a variety, and we're very intentional about talking about it, because I remember, this is probably like 5 years ago now, we had spent a significant amount of time with Kevin's family because his sister was sick at the time, battling cancer. And they have biracial cousins, but between Kevin's family, I was the only Black person. Mm-hmm. And my oldest was 3 then. And she said, I wish I had a white mom. Oof. And I was like, well, like, wow. And she sees her grandma who's white. She sees her, right. Her aunt who's white. So there's a part of me that was like, okay, well, this is just like where we're spending a lot of time. And she's the only one who has a mom that looks different. Right. But I was like, no, like this has to be so intentional, because it's going to be easy for them, like not easy to be biracial. I don't know that experience. And that is an experience that they're going to have to walk through a very different journey than me in that way. But it's easy to be like, oh yeah, like that's my dad. Like that's the norm. Like that's what, a lot of people are. But Kevin and I both, and he's really good at being like, yeah, like mommy's skin and she's beautiful, and this and that. And even having like girls with different skin tones, I don't want like my child whose skin is darker like mine. No one is as dark as I am, but like the darkest of the 3 to feel somehow inadequate because her other sisters have lighter skin or vice versa, and my oldest is funny because she has like super long hair, definitely got it from dad's side, the Norwegian side. But she said to me recently, like, I wish my hair was more like yours because it's so thick and shiny, So the conversations do, it's a long answer. I'm a talker, sorry. But the conversations happen we want them to be proud of all of who they are, but we know we have to be that much more intentional to make sure that their Black mom is not somehow just like a secondhand, oh, okay, well, I guess, like we have to be really intentional about that.
There's a lot said about white parents have to teach their white children about racism. And I completely agree with that. There's no but at the end of that statement. I would say, and white parents have to teach their white children that whiteness is a racial identity. And so that they don't enter into the world with an assumption that whiteness is normal, right? And you have to teach your kids. It's not about teaching them to be like proud of being white. It's that you're teaching them the reality of a racial like identity that is wrapped up in whiteness. It's just interesting to think you have a lot. You have a lot of melanin differences in your house, Patty, is what I'm saying. And navigating that, we do too in our house. And so navigating that it's unique.
It is.
It's a unique thing. So
even like it's something that could be seen as really innocent, and it may be, but like if they're playing with dolls and the dolls are all different shades, like we've got an Asian doll and a black doll and a white doll, but if something happens and like the black doll is put in the corner, I'm like, why is she over there? I want to make her like, oh, well, because she didn't listen to the teacher. Oh, okay. I'm just making sure we're playing school, and she, I'm like, wait, don't do that. School to prison pipe. No, So I'm just like,
dude, get these white dolls in the corner right now.
I know. I'm like, yeah, I'm that mom.
We're sensitive to that stuff too. That's funny. Here, I'm going to invite people right now. If you have a question for Patty, throw it in the chat. I'm going to ask her one more question. So the last thing here is about Anne of Green Gables. Yes. If you have a question for Patty, we're going to get to him here in a minute. I'm going to ask one more question, and she's going to answer it, and then we're going to get to those questions. And we can unmute too, if people are comfortable with that. Some people, it's like they want to unmute and ask a question, some don't. I don't want to make people do what they don't want to do. So here we go. This is one of those questions that I can't actually, in good conscience, ask you to answer. I'm going to put it out there, and you can demur, and that is an acceptable answer. I just am looking around at our participants, and it's a bunch of crackers. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I did. It's just a bunch of, if next week we've got Elisa, and Elisa is, if she was here, I would say it's a bunch of gringos. Okay. And so that's the situation. What do we need to be aware of? What does it feel like to be a Black person in a majority white space? Is there anything that we as white people can be aware of that a person, and it doesn't just have to be Black, right? It can be any person of color. What is that experience that we can be attentive to without being freaking weirdos? You know what I'm saying? Is there any tip? Oh, you have a whole blog post on this. Maybe I'll just link to that and not make you answer the question, Patty. I'm sorry. Kayla is calling me out, but if you have something for us, whiteys.
Oh my goodness. I think the word that you said, as far as being attentive, is where I would start, because as a white person, you walk into the room and like you just exist. If I'm walking into a space, I am surveying everything. I am like, my ears are up, my eyes are open. Like I am super aware of the space and my surroundings. I'm aware of where I am, who's there, what looks am I getting or not getting, am I the only one? You see in Black culture, like the head nod, when you see other Black people and you're like, oh, hey, I see you. But it's because there's just that knowing of like,
we're trying to teach Joseph about this. We saw a Black guy in Duluth, and he was like, oh, oh man, how you doing? And Joseph was like, I don't know this guy. And I gotta tell Joseph, like, here's the thing. I don't know that guy, but you do know that guy. Yeah. Like, you need to know, like, yeah.
But it's, because it's real. It's, I shared about this on, I don't know, someone's podcast. I think my friend Letty's podcast, that like everywhere I am existing in my Black skin. Like everywhere I go, I'm a Black woman. That doesn't change no matter where I am, whether I'm at the grocery store, whether I'm at the beach, whether I'm on a Zoom call, whether I'm at church. Yep. I'm a Black woman. And there are certain connotations to that. There are connotations to how I'm seen, how I'm perceived. I shared this, I don't know, been talking with lots of different people lately, but I shared this recently with the girls have ballet class. And I am super strict about getting us there on time because I'm the only Black mom.
Sure.
And I don't want to be the one to perpetuate this idea of like, oh, like Black people are never on time, and CP time, and like, while there is truth to that, like it's a different, deeper conversation where we could talk about like fixed time versus fluid time, and like, why is this thing accepted as a norm, and why is it automatically seen as disrespectful or bad if people are like more communal and they talk and they hang and they linger, and that's why they're not on time. That's a whole other thing. But like, I am so aware of the fact that I'm the only Black mother.
You don't want to have that conversation with the ballet moms?
I do not. No, I do not. Bless the children, but not these moms. I sit in the car. I make sure the girls are there, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna box my friend Kayla because I'm not trying to. But yeah,
so being aware,
like that, because there's like the attachment there, like there's the attachment of the like, what stereotype is attached to this if I raise my voice? Oh, then you're an angry Black woman. What stereotype is attached to this if I'm late? Oh, Black people never on time. Oh, like, oh, they're irresponsible. Oh, they're lazy. Like, what attachment is brought to that? So I think there's so much that can be said, but I think just knowing that, like, where you can just show up and just be you in a space, I can show up and be me with the whole awareness that like I need to just be on when I'm in a predominantly white space.
Yeah, that's good. I was the pastor of a suburban church, and a very white suburban church, and we had 2 Black people, and I was having a conversation with this woman after church. And I was, we were going to have a group, and we were going to talk about Jamar Tisby's study on Right Now Media. I don't know if it was How to Be an Anti-Racist or his book before that, Color of Compromise. That's what it was. And I said, here's the thing. You don't have to do this. You don't owe it to me to do this. You don't owe it to anybody to do this. Say no to save your mental health, but I know you have told me you were interested in helping move this conversation forward. Here's what we're doing. And I straight up said to her, I said, here's the thing, look around. You got a unique voice here. And we looked around at all the white people. And later on, she told me, she was like, the fact that you just said it meant something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm a hero, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm a white.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Because then we're gonna have to talk about white saviorism, and it's not gonna be pretty.
All right, we're gonna get to the questions, but I want to do a quick hit first. I got some pictures. Tell me the stories, Patty. Tell me the story of this picture.
Oh, oh my gosh, Johnny, you went digging deep. Okay, that was one of my girl trips to San Diego.
Okay.
Many moons ago. That was, like I said, I'm from the Bay Area. But my best friend since the 2nd grade and I would go on yearly girl trips to San Diego, and that was one of them.
I love it. I don't think you have to explain this picture, but I just wanted to show it.
Oh, that's my brother and I.
You got some cute kids, Patty. That's ridiculous.
That's my brother.
We've talked a lot about Kevin. I know Kevin. Kevin and I messaged a bit. I tried to get some dirt on you for this conversation.
That's great.
And
fantastic.
Yeah, he was very kind. He was like, Patty is so put together. There's not a lot of like embarrassing stories about Patty. You should actually feel good. But for everybody who doesn't know Kevin, this is Kevin.
That's Kevin. That was right after we got married.
I was gonna ask, is this pre or post marriage?
That was right after. That was on our mini moon. We went to Monterey Bay Aquarium and Carmel.
Was this for prom?
That was our engagement.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I want to know what would possess you to do this on your wedding day.
Oh, that was fantastic. That was our Trash the Dress shoot. So that was, I was actually 5 weeks pregnant with our oldest, Alex. In that year. So that was our 1 year. That was our anniversary.
Oh, it's not your wedding day.
No, that was a year later. That's how we celebrated our anniversary. We went to lots of places before then. That was the last stop. Our photographer for our wedding was like, I've always wanted to do this. I'll, throw it in for free if you say yes. And we were like, sure. So he took us to like just different areas like graffiti wall backgrounds, farm area where there's hay bales and railroad tracks, and we
Did you
just took all
castrate a
the photos.
cow in your wedding
No,
dress?
there were no cows. But that was like another former client of his that let us use his like really beautiful backyard, and we jumped in.
Love it. I got one
Yeah.
more, and then we're gonna get to the questions.
Aw, that was when I was pregnant with my oldest.
Patty, you have such a curated social media presence. It was hard to find these pictures, I gotta say. And they're not even that embarrassing. Like if you went to my social media, you'd find like the most ridiculous, stupid pictures. And
I don't
yours are
have
like,
a lot of embarrassing.
yours are like,
Never,
"Look
I'm
how
not
cute
going to
I
make
am.
myself
Oh
that
my
whole. I was
God."
going to say, Johnny, it's all right. It's a missed opportunity for you, Johnny, but it's all right. Go ahead. Let's go to the questions. I have an embarrassing moment that involves you that I was just waiting for you to bust me out on, but it's
You
all
want
right.
me to show the photo shoot of you in the Craig Moore bedroom? Is that what
No,
you're
that's
talking
not what I'm even talking about. It's fine. It's a missed opportunity. Go to the questions in the chat.
You
Kayla's
had an
trolling.
embarrassing moment together? I don't even remember this. You're not gonna tell me. Okay.
I'm putting it in the chat.
All right. What is I don't even remember the story though. I don't even, yeah, that's what it was.
I
It
do
was
because I was
boxers.
mortified because I was going to die. I died 1,000 deaths that
You
day.
just
I
put
remember.
Johnny on boxers, but you said boxers, and that was the best. I loved that.
It was not. It was terrible.
Kayla, unmute and tell the story, please, because I can't remember it.
Okay, so we were boxing with the upside down team, and Johnny got on saying a joke to like Elisa or something. I don't know what it was. And then Patty's like, "Oh, I just love Johnny's boxers."
That's what it was. Yeah.
And then she goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I spelled Johnny wrong." I didn't even realize that she had said boxers instead of boxers.
It's a true story.
Oh,
It's a
that's
true story.
amazing.
I was like, oh man, autocorrect like added an H to his name. Oh, like I'm sorry, because I really like big on honoring people's names, even though who doesn't spell Johnny with an H? But and so I went back and corrected that, and then it still took a second time before I realized, like, oh my gosh, I wrote boxers instead of boxers. So I'm like saying that I love my best friend's husband's boxers.
After you had been to our home, it made it seem like you had seen me in my boxers. I tried to be very PG while you were here, Patty. All right. Britta wants to know, what is your favorite space in your home?
Actually, this space right behind me,
Okay.
because it's like my growing Black art, Black culture, Black people wall, and it's from Black artists or quotes from Black people. And I actually got a brand new, I'm going to show you, it's going to go up as soon as Kevin, you can message him about that. Put this picture up right in that space over there. No, wait, there. I don't know, the empty space. But this one, Morgan Harper Nichols is now in Target, and yes. So this is gonna go back there, but I just love this space. My friend Tony, who's a local artist, made this picture of MLK for me, and then I have another friend who did. This isn't Black art, but well, it is because she did this rendition of this painting for me, and yeah, I love this space.
All right, the last question. I'm going to give people a chance to unmute after this question if they want to, but this otherwise will be the last question. Why?
It's Kayla trolling me. I already saw it.
Kayla's computer died and she is now like slightly off screen right here. How have you gone this long in life without coffee or chocolate, Patty? How is this possible?
Yeah, never been interested in coffee ever. Growing up, I ate chocolate. I just didn't love it like that. Like
you like a Mike and Ike type of candy, or you're just not a sweets person in general?
Oh no, I love sour candy. I love sour candy, and I love caramel. So it's not. People are like, "Oh, you don't eat chocolate? Oh, you're so good." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I eat everything else." It's just not chocolate.
Chocolate's great on the outside of a candy bar that's filled with something else. Like
She like caramel corn.
Chocolate's fine.
Ben and Jerry's caramel corn ice cream.
Ben and Jerry's caramel corn ice cream.
Yes, that's the one, because it has
corn.
Not corn. No, core. Like the core, the center of the ice cream.
What you
is
guys
all
want me to do?
caramel.
I got crazy Kayla whispering in my ear down here.
I
Patty.
heard her clearly. You have some loose hairs in your ear. Come on.
I don't hear well, and it's always a thing that I mishear. Like I hear our kids. There's a whole story about my kid asking for a smoothie, and I thought he was saying foofy, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, foofy." And Kayla's like, "He wants a smoothie, dummy." So,
what's a foofy? The caramel core is the best ice cream because it's a glob of caramel, however you want to say it, right in the center. It's a glob, and it's so good. And there's no chocolate anywhere.
I love it.
Pro tip.
Patty, you are a true delight of a person. You bring me joy. You bring a lot of joy to my wife, but more importantly than the Craig family, you bring a lot of joy to people all over the internet on your various social media platforms. If somebody's not following you because they live under a rock, where can they find you?
Oh, thanks, Johnny. I miss you. I want to go back to the Craig more. I have to say this for my own self-indulgence that the room on the 3rd floor is called Patty's room. I just want everyone to know.
Somebody else has stayed in Patty's room.
It is my room. They can stay, but it is called Patty's room.
It's all Patty's.
So Patricia _A_ Taylor is where I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook if you venture that way. It's based on like my blog name, my website name, which is Some Thoughts from Your Black Friend. So if you put that in, then it will pop up. And then also, seriously, I would suggest following Be the Bridge if not already. And of course, at Upside Down Podcast on Instagram. Because we're in season 6.
Upside Down Podcast. I heard that you're gonna feature a mediocre white guy this season. Is that accurate?
We are. You're just for a day. Just one image, one day. Don't get your head too big.
No, I'm taking over. Now it's mine. That's the way.
Now you run it. Now you run it. Now you're in charge. Now you're telling us what we should talk about because I said you could have one day.
I'm gonna come and mansplain podcasting to you guys. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Please do. Not do that because I'm over social media, so I'll be like, "Oh, that post disappeared." Sorry, Johnny.
This is the point where I ask people